Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. I think the challenge, it's a number of things, but the challenge of going for it aged 40, 20 years on, potentially 20 years to the day from when I won it as a 20-year-old,
Yeah.
actually feels like a very big challenge again.
Mm.
And in a way, a big enough challenge to get me out of bed in the morning to make me want to go and do it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to have fallen into the trap of effectively being a journeyman athlete, a journeyman rower who was just going along because I could maintain a position in the team. But to actually say, now here's a challenge which is big enough to be motivating enough for me to go off and make it happen again.
Mm.
So in one way, it's the size of the challenge that makes it worth doing. I mean, another one is the fact that it's London, and this is an absolute once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Absolutely.
So winning the Olympics somewhere is going to happen every 4 years, but winning the Olympics on home soil will probably never happen again in my lifetime. So that's an incredibly special and, again, more motivating thing to do. And that's something that didn't just happen overnight, that I woke up one day and said I'd go for it. That happened from as soon as we entered the bidding process as a nation and London as a city, that I realised, well, this thing could happen in the UK 20 years on from 1992. And then that sat within me, really, and we first of all won it as the host city, and then I kept my distance, but I did stay fit and stay healthy and do a little bit more training. And then it was only actually about a year ago now that I attended the World Championships as a commentator in rowing, and realised that I didn't think I was that far off breaking into the team again. And I looked at the competitors from the other countries and who was still doing it, who I'd remembered, and actually who I'd been capable of beating back then, and thought, well, if I put my mind to it, I wonder if I could beat those people again. So then I came back, and the very next day decided it was time to get back into training.
So that was that key moment. Suddenly, being around everybody again just made it go, right, that's it. I can do this.
Yeah, it was a combination of things, in fact. It was the key moment of being there and seeing it. And then actually, the World Championships last year were in Poznan in Poland. And I was meant to fly out on the Monday in the afternoon. But my plane was delayed because there was a problem with it, some sort of mechanical hitch. Anyway, I was sent back to the hotel because there wasn't a flight available until the next day. And what that actually meant was that I had a 24-hour period of thinking time. And I guess that's something that's a real luxury in most people's working lives. And it was certainly a luxury in my working life, that I guess as a father of two, someone with a job, someone trying to stay healthy, my life was incredibly busy. And to actually have an enforced rest, the first thing I thought was, oh my goodness, there must be another way for me to get out of here. I've got too much to do. I'm too important. But actually, you realise you're not that important. And in fact, does it really matter whether I'm answering that email, making that phone call, showing up for that day of extra work? And in fact, to actually think, you know what, I can just give that away, made me think, let's reevaluate and think what's really important. What would I be really proud of in 3 years from now? And that's what I really thought about in that 24 hours while I was stuck in the airport in Poland.
And can I ask you, how did your family react when you actually, went back from? I mean, they must have had an inkling anyway that you were thinking about this. But then when you actually went back to the UK and said, "I really want to do this," what was that?
No, the first thing I had to do was speak to my wife Jenny about it, and to go through the fact that if I was serious about this, what would be involved, and what would be the implications in terms of family life, time away, as well as the financial implications, how I'd be able to support us for me to be able to do this thing, which could be seen as quite a luxury, really, for a bloke in their 30s to go back and want to play games all day, which is ultimately what it is. So we had to think through that, and Jenny was really understanding of it and could see the positives in it, as well as being able to see the darker side and see the cons, if you like. But I think the pros definitely outweighed the cons, and we were able to take the decision together that it was a good thing to do. And then to think about the children, really, and my kids, Josie and Adam, are 7 and 9, and now they seem old enough to me that it's okay for me to do this, that in a way, we're beyond the, having to do everything for them stage. So it's a little bit easier for my wife because my kids are more self-sufficient. And also my kids, I want to be a good role model to them. And I want to show them what it means to be sporty and to be healthy and to be active. And I also want to be around and I want to be present as much as I can. So apart from being on training camps when clearly I'm not present because I'm away for a week or two, when I am here, I want to really be here for them. And actually, as an athlete, when I'm at training, I'm focused on the training. But when I'm away, I do manage to walk away and leave it. I don't walk around with my telephone attached to my ear all the time. And I don't need to sort of work the hours outside of when I'm actually there and training. So in many ways, I found it's been good for my family life, actually, to take this decision and go down this path.